anyone who worked in the first Trump administration, then you would know exactly how damaging leaking can be to the media. They were paralyzed because every single time they tried to do anything, it would get leaked to the press. Far before an announcement or before they could codify any type of rule, policy, or legislation, the media would be all over it. If Donald Trump had a phone call with Zelensky, it would get leaked. I mean, by the way, this is like incredibly classified national security information, the contents of Donald Trump's phone calls with world leaders. But CIA analysts leaked that information to Democrats. Democrats weaponized it and impeached Trump over it. It's like a perfectly fine phone. Again, it was literally a perfectly fine phone call. So this is a culture that is extremely damaging. And what we found out this past week was that there were intel leakers that were leaking to Israeli media sources about the pilot that was downed in Iran, putting this pilot's life in danger, horrible danger. The Iranians didn't know where this pilot was, but someone on the intel side was leaking to the media what was going on in this very, very secretive and sensitive operation that absolutely could have gotten American hostages, a lot of Americans killed. There were thousands of Americans involved in this rescue mission, and everyone could have died. Everyone could have been taken hostage. I mean, it's a terrible thing to do. You put people's lives at risk. It's one thing to be like, here's an embarrassing photo of someone or something like that, right? It's a totally different thing to leak national security information and try and like hurt people. And so I understand that this is a double-edged sword and that like the national security classifications are how they were able to stop the Epstein lists from coming out, or people looking into the CIA and some of the more evil practices, the Kennedy assassination, regime change operations, UFOs. Like they overclassify things. I understand that that it's wrong one way and wrong the other, but you can't put people's lives at risk. And it's awesome to see the federal government. Sorry for that lecture. It's awesome to see the federal government finally cracking down on this. Like people in the military and people in the national security space shouldn't be leaking on active military operations. Army employee profiled by Politico charged with leaking classified information to journalists. Here you go. Former Army employee was indicted on Wednesday, sharing classified material with the journalist. Courtney Williams held a top security clearance during the period which she worked for a special military unit out of Fort Bragg. We've been there. Now she has an indictment against her. She's accused of repeatedly communicating with a journalist via phone and text messages, during which she provided statements, classified national defense information, and published a book and a magazine article at Politico. The reporter's name is Seth Harp. Harp directly attributed statements to Williams for an expose on sexual misconduct and drug trafficking that took place in the ranks of the Army elite. Okay. It's unclear what specific material Harp's magazine piece said to be classified. The indictment notes that offending content is related to sensitive tactics, techniques, and procedures. Williams expressed concern about what Harp attributed to her in text messages, and she allegedly sent the journalist and her mother after reading the story. I wish you sent me a copy of what was being published prior to publishing. I would definitely have been concerned with the amount of classified information being disclosed, she wrote in a text message to the reporter. I mean, some people are defending this lady, right? Like, you know, how about just don't do this? Like, how about that? Like, do you need to talk to the press? Do you know how many times I get outreach from reporters every single day? This is not at brag, okay? They're scum. They want to like try and tear down MAGA. They're like rats. They want to like try and gnaw and eat at like every. And I, you know, I'm a guy that's like moving around in these spaces, and they're trying to destroy our movement. And I just don't talk to them. You know, you can use this. This is a principle that I always use when it comes to PR on anything. You can just shut up. You actually don't have to engage. You don't have to talk to reporters. You don't have to even answer reporters when they ask you questions. And if you do want to say something, you don't have to talk about the thing they want you to talk about. You can talk about other things, or you can just say nothing. It's like incredible the number of Republicans that would get out of hot water if they just followed those steps. Anyway, when you're openly working with a reporter who hates the military and who hates, you know, our country, don't be surprised when they publish your classified information, and then that's a crime, right? I mean, this is a crime. These are crimes, okay? These are crimes based on American, you know, law and justice and the transmission of classified information. It is a crime. If I'm upset about Hillary Clinton doing it, I got to be upset about multiple people doing it now that the FBI are going after. Former Army employee and top secret clearance holder arrested and charged for leaking classified defense information. Here's another one. More arrests at Fort Bragg civilian contractor for giving classified materials to a reporter to publish national security information. Okay. Sack Davis stresses the risk to our national security when classified information is not protected by those who authorize it. If you're going to get that paycheck from the U.S. government to handle classified info, some of these paychecks are good paychecks, lots of benefits, right? Do you really need to like leak stuff to reporters? Listen to this. I thought things I was telling you could have been better general understanding of how the unit was set up or operated and would not be published. Feels like the entire article was sent out in my name, giving them a chance to legally prosecute me, she said in a text message. So she's texting about how she's now liable for prosecution. Williams, for the indictment, noted, "I'm taking deep breaths, but I have a feeling this is going to be more of a nightmare for my children than not." Well, then why don't... Here's the other thing that's like, I live near a military base. I live in Tampa. MacDill, CENTCOM, it's like literally down the street from me. People have problems, my neighbors are these pilots and people that work there. Like they have problems. There's people to report this stuff to. You don't have to go to the media. There are independent lawyers. There's officers, JAG officers, and other lawyers inside of the military. You can talk to anyone. You ever been on a military base? Like the most litigious, suffocating environment you can be on. I hated my time at Fort Bragg. I was at Fort Bragg. I was like, I hated it because of that exact reason. Like, you can't like take a step without like somebody barking at you. You couldn't just report it to like one of your superiors. I'm in agreement with this stuff. I'm in agreement with what they're doing. The FBI has arrested former Army employee for leaking classified information. They caught her because the journalist she leaked to published her name with the classified info. This is so stupid. So dumb. FBI has arrested former Special Operations and Delta Force veteran for violating the Espionage Act. Now, can we please also arrest James Comey for doing the same thing? Hillary Clinton for doing the same thing? Is there a statute of limitations on this stuff, right? They arrested a leaker. I think it's good. You should send a message to people. You shouldn't do this. Why, lady, why do you need to leak to the press? Why do you need to leak to the media? Trump has vowed to catch the leaker who revealed the F-15 pilot in Iran. Give it up or go to jail. Good. Good. I don't want American service members put at risk by people who are here domestically or internationally. We think it's the Israeli reporter that was the first one to get the leaker. So hopefully they're hunting that down too. We talked about that yesterday. Anyway, seems like a win as far as I'm concerned. It's your boy Benny. See ya.